Good evening and welcome to another wonderful episode of Sports 101 Sunday Night Review. Sorry about turning up late tonight. As always, tell a friend to tell a friend that we are live every Sunday from 7 to 8 p.m. We are live every Sunday from 7 to 8 p.m. And tonight we want to talk about something very interesting. Quickly, we want to talk about the happenings in the context of the EPL. It's been a fantastic EPL race up until now. You've had several league changes. Some of the usual suspects are still in the title race. We'll look at the broader picture of the EPL and the title race, and then we'll look at who gets to make the top four. We may probably even look at who gets to be relegated. It's pretty much clear some patterns are being fashioned out as we speak. And I must say that before I introduced my other guest speakers or my other guest pundits, I must say that I've been very impressed about the output of Liverpool this season. They were one of the few teams I really did not see getting into the position they are today. But I think that yes, obviously in the context of the league, Klopp has come out to say that this will be his last season, and then he will bow out of Liverpool because he cites reason about a lack of energy, whatever it is that is happening in the background, we do not know. But to get themselves into the position they are now, obviously we're here last season, we chronicled all of the ills of Liverpool, ranging from their defense, ranging from positions of weaknesses, regards the fullbacks, and we talked so much extensively about Trent Alexander-Arnold and his inability to defend. Yes, going forward, he's absolutely world-class. We talked about potentially what could be the cover if Andy Robertson does get injured. And then we talked about the lack of creativity in the Liverpool midfield. Obviously, Klopp has surprised all of us. This season, there has been an emergence of good replacements at Liverpool. You look in the midfield, you could talk about the guy with the password name, and then you could talk about you could talk about all of the McAllister, you could talk about Slabozai, you could talk about all of those guys in the Liverpool midfield who are upping the element of creativity which previously has been lacked. Obviously, if you look back at Liverpool, in the era even when they dominated, you look at that Liverpool pairing, midfield pairing of Fabinho, look at Wijnaldum, and then you look at Henderson. Yes, one of the pointers regards what made them so inefficient. Yes, they conquered Europe, they conquered the league at a point in time. One of the major failings of that particular midfield trio was the lack of creative ability about them. But it looks like Slobozai together with McAllister, and then the emergence of Curtis Jones and all of those guys in that Liverpool midfield are making things work. And then my good friend Percy said that this was going to be a season that Darwin Núñez gets to the limelight. It looks like he's been one of the shining stars of Liverpool this season. Jota has come in and out of the season. So Liverpool has really surprised me. But let me take this opportunity to rope in Percy into the conversation. Percy, tonight we want to look at the EPL. We want to look at the context of who gets to win the league eventually. We want to look at the title race. We want to look at what happens between now and May.
Okay.
Have there been any surprises for you?
For the surprises, I wouldn't really call it. It's more or less like if you are looking at it on the surface, you would think, okay, it's a surprise that United are where they are, Chelsea are where they are. But if you look at the trajectory from last season, if you look at the team setup, if you look at the management, you look at the crop of players, I don't really have a lot of surprises. City deserve to be where they are, probably not on top, but where they are. Arsenal, they picked up from where they were. Liverpool, we know they just had a slump because 2 seasons before they were trooping for the trophy. United, we know
2 seasons ago they almost won
they
the
almost
treble.
won it. The treble. In fact,
yeah.
even a quartet of trophies. So it's no news, and that was the only slump apart from 2019, 2022, 2020, 2021. So it's normal. With United, we know that getting to latter parts of last season, there was a slump. There were issues with respect to players and the rest. So we knew obviously it was going to affect the team. With Chelsea, it was very obvious. Last season, with the change, the massive influx of money, the change in players, management, Pochettino is not a title winner. We know this is the position he finds himself in with a lot of changes, normal. And those in the relegation zone, we predicted them. Everton, they had their own demons to fight with last season. It took but for the last match of the season for them to salvage their
But we must be quick to point that Everton are where they are because of the point
deduction.
Even with of the 10-point deduction. If they did not have the 10-point deduction, I'm pretty sure they would be a lot safer.
But apart from that, they will still be in the bottom half. That is the bottom half of it. So all of the elite teams, wherever we're expecting them to be, they are there. Those to be in relegation. There are probably a few surprises in the positives. And the few surprises in the positives is Aston Villa, as we've seen them this season and what they are doing.
They're currently fourth.
Yeah, in the Europa and also in the League Proper. Yes, for Brighton, they flattered to deceive with what they did last season. Excuse me, and they're continuing this season. So I think the table is fairly a representation of every team's strength. It's a fair representation of every team's ability with what they've done last season with the players they brought in this. In Tottenham, we're not expecting anything extraordinary. They started well.
But you see, this is where I come in. You see, there's been a lot of talk about, particularly the coach of Tottenham, that he's coming to change all of the status quo, to do all of the things that people like Jose Mourinho, people like the ex-Chelsea boss failed to do at Tottenham. Is the magic wand dwindling?
He didn't do anything extraordinary because...
At the beginning of season, Spurs were the talk of town. People were talking about that potentially they could be in the title race.
It was a flash
now, as we speak tonight, they are fit. They are out of the top 4 contention.
He's never done anything more than any of these managers who have, because Mourinho, for nothing at all, went to the final of the League Cup, which he could have won if he had gone to the final. Pochettino had been second in the league like twice. He was on the verge of winning even with the league in 2015, 2016, when Leicester had to take it out of their grasp in the last 2 matches. So Tottenham, this is not even their level for the past 10 years. They've been very consistent. If you are talking about even Conte, Conte did not do anything different from what Ange is doing. Just that in the beginning of the season, you realize a lot of the teams were trying to find their feet. City were not in the best of shape. United were very bad. Chelsea were hardly trying to win. Even Liverpool did not start well. Arsenal did not start well. So they had it all to themselves. And you know that playing in the Premier League, one of the best things that work for you is having squad depth and having replacement, that is affable replacement for every position. Ones that will be able to make up for all of those losses. And that was one thing that it hurt Arsenal last season, and they've been able to do that because if Partey was out, who plays? But now, in the space of even Rice, there is Partey, there is Jorginho. They have 2 positions for one. Kai Havertz can play in multiple positions, but they don't have it. When they had Maddison going off, it was a problem to them. When Son was off, Richarlison was not firing. When Son went, then that was when Richarlison started firing. They had Pape Matar leaving. All of these players had, even Liverpool, they had Salah, their mainstay leave. But when he left, you realize you have my man, dashing man, Nunes. He has stepped in, Luis Diaz has stepped in, and you have a lot of the goals spread across. So Tottenham, we knew this was just, it was more like we're going for a marathon, and they started with both 100 meters, and it wasn't really going to be sustained because it's a marathon, and you have to reserve your energy for the crunch part. We've not even gotten to the crunch part. In fact, they are not even playing in other competitions. There is no Europe they are playing in. They had to exit the FA Cup and also the La Liga Cup very early. So
Yeah.
upon all of this, he's not done anything extraordinary.
But let's get into the specifics of the issue. You look at City, you look at the fact that they've had to suffer multiple injuries to key players. Haaland has gone out for a distinguished period of time. You've had same with KDB.
Yeah.
There's been times in the course of the season that Rodri had to be suspended, and they lost most of the games that he had to be suspended. You look at the complexities regards the EPL, and then you look at the fact that City are trying to chase history.
Yeah.
I must put it
The
on
first
record that no team has won the league four
Okay.
times
No.
on the trot.
No,
No
never.
team has won the league 4 times on the trot. United has done it twice. You understand?
That's 3-peat twice.
Yes, they have done a 3-peat twice.
Liverpool has done a 3-peat.
Yes,
That is
Liverpool
in the
have
old.
done a 3-peat. That was when the league was in the old format, but it's still a 3-peat.
Yeah.
City have done a 3-peat.
Yeah.
Will City be the team that goes on to write history, looking at all of the circumstances with which we find ourselves today?
For me-
I was particularly surprised with the results that they had to get against Chelsea yesterday.
Yeah,
It
of
tells you
course.
how unpredictable the league is. It tells you no match is a given. Will City be the first team to break that particular dark?
Now, for me, first of all, I don't think we should.
I hope you did not bring any prophecies.
No, no prophecies.
Because they asked me to remind you that your prophecies fell off last
No, but
week.
you
Yes.
remember, even with the finals of the AFCON, I was very particular that I said all these things go in favor, but any team that eliminates Senegal goes on to win.
Will City go on to do the
Oh, for this
quadruple?
one, first of all, we shouldn't feel so sorry for City for what happened, because Arsenal brought a same case that one of the reasons why last season they could not win the league is that their mainstays, that is the prima donnas of the team, had to go off. That is with Partey. Partey was the anchor of the team, had to, and since then the team was never the same. Jorginho, of course, came in, but could not really salvage whatever they were going through. And for City, I don't think they have that as an excuse, because with the squad depth that they have, they bought a Calvin Phillips for over 40 million. This was a player who was arguably one of the best defensive midfielders in the league.
Yeah.
When he was at Leeds United.
Yeah.
You bought a player of that sort and you decided to put that player on the bench.
He was
Now,
not good enough for City.
they were not even giving him the chance to play. So
He was not good enough.
but he was bought. So it's not as if you didn't have players to step in for the KDB issue. I don't think it is something that we should really talk much about, because with last season, KDB did not even play a lot of the matches. They have multiple players for the same position. Mahrez could step in for him. You have Bernardo Silva. Phil Foden was also there. There was Jack Grealish who was also there. There were multiple players. They have the luxury that most of the other teams do not have. If you take the likes of Chelsea, how many world-class players do Chelsea have in the same position? Let's say Sterling is there, the only world-class player there. When Sterling steps off, is it Modric who is coming in? If you take the likes of Arsenal, they are all wannabes. They are not winners. All the players who play for Arsenal, as good as they are, apart from Kai Havertz that you can probably take off, and Gabriel Jesus, how many of them have won anything? And probably maybe Jorginho. Even the winning of the league is not something that is common to them. And even for they and all that they went through, they were able to shove it and just move on. So for City, I don't think they have an excuse to talk about it. But with the win of the three-peat, this season, I told you in the beginning of the season that Liverpool is a force to reckon with. And Arsenal, if they are able to get the positions that needed reinforcement, if they were able to get them, I think they were going to make a headway. And they did it. They did their best to bring in a right back, the Timbra, who had an injury and is trying to get back into his old shape. Now they have Jorginho to also help with Declan Rice. Partey has not been playing not even up to 5-6 matches, but no one has even realized it.
Yeah.
Kai Havertz now has been able to fit in so perfectly well that false number 9 that we didn't see him play that well at Chelsea, he's able to do it in the absence of Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus right now, we don't even know the impact he's making. Saka is still on fire. He's still playing to his best. Odegaard is still playing. The partnership of Gabriel Magalhaes and William Saliba is on form. And also, they have a keeper who has been able to make up for that is Aaron Ramsdale. He's one of the reasons why last season they had to slump, because he was conceding some goals which were very laughable. But now he's been able. So, Arsenal, as funny as it may sound, if Liverpool went 30 years and they were able to win this league, I think Arsenal were this, because City, the way we know them to be, when they set off to their fifth gear, it is very difficult for them to slam. They find a way to grind results. So for them to do something like this against Chelsea, it means that they are really beatable. And it looks like I always say, how do you motivate a team that are set in self-actualization? And that is something that I have realized with Pep Guardiola team. I told you the last time that when they won the sextuple in 2008, 2009, 2010, they were able to win the league. But at the crunch of it had to be in the last day. That was against Real Madrid. All of them were almost 100 points. But a season afterwards, you realize that he has run out of gas in the tank. That was when Real Madrid took over. Although they won the league and they also went to the Champions League final. But you realize that everything was trying to just not really, especially when he has a coach that will give him a run for his money. When he went to Bayern Munich after the first season, to the third season, you realize that if he doesn't have an influx or a change in the team, the players, it's something that has to do with players. The players will definitely they wouldn't even have a cause to really, what do we have to fight for? Because we've won the treble. So what is there? What is there to do? Probably a few of the players who are over ambitious and want to get to the next level, maybe the likes of Haaland, because even with Haaland, the firing he was in last season, you don't know whether he has lost everything like he had last season. So it's like for the players, if you look at the City players, maybe a few of those who came in, maybe Doku and the rest, they have not won anything yet. But with the players, I don't see them wanting to that this is a record that we must break, and no. I think with the treble, it's enough for them. But I still tip Arsenal. I really don't want Liverpool to win, because as of now, the only record United has, apart from having the only player in England to win the world best player, the only thing they have is that they are at par with Liverpool to win 1, 2, 3. So if City has to win, it means that there is not, because there was a treble. Now the neighbors have done it. So the only thing is that should be protected. And with Liverpool and Arsenal, I think I would rather tip Arsenal. I'm not tipping City.
Well, a quick one on the whole picture of the EPL. I think that Percy has spoken very well. Football has to do with momentum.
Of course.
It has to do with who has the powers backing him, who has the greatest momentum, regards where they want to get to on the finishing line. And if you look at Arsenal presently, I'm not trying to make a forecast into the future. In their last 2 matches, they've scored 10 plus goals.
Yeah.
They hit West Ham for 6 away from home, and then yesterday they hit Sheffield for 5.
That's crazy.
I mean,
and the goals are well distributed. Is it Sheffield or Fulham?
No, it has to be one of these relegation threatening teams.
So they are enforcing their will on you that you have.
Arsenal has showed that they are making up for the goal difference.
Yeah.
They are making up for the points, and what they are doing is that they are laying down the gauntlet. I mean, what Arsenal is literally doing to their opponent is that they're telling everybody that if we get you on a good day, we are going to tear you to shreds. If you do not meet us with your A game, we are
course.
going to tear you to shreds. And that is quite a statement. I look at Liverpool. I look at particularly the results that they had to get yesterday against Brentford. Brentford has been one of the stubborn opponents for Liverpool ever since they had promotion back into the league. In fact, it looks like Klopp had not gotten a positive result regards a win against Brentford away from home. But Brentford and then Liverpool going there, doing what they did to Brentford yesterday. Jota had to go off injured. Mo Salah had to step in.
It was actually Burnley. Arsenal beat Burnley.
Burnley, yes. Burnley
away from home.
Away from home. Burnley have been terrible all season long. But not so many teams get to beat Burnley by 5-0.
Yeah.
But you look at Liverpool, what they did to Brentford. You look at the multiple goal scorers. You look at Curtis Jones. You look at Darwin Núñez, you look at Mo Salah, you look at McAllister, you look at Gakpo, you look at the players that have to come from the bench to make an impact in the team. I think the Liverpool are looking also particularly strong. Then I want to focus on City. City have had some good results, but against this Chelsea team, yes, I know that traditionally City has always had a particular grudge to bear with Chelsea. But against this Chelsea team, where everybody felt that, listen, this is the time that you have to press home your dominance because we are almost entering the home stretch regards the finish line. I think that City should have gone out there, made a statement. Indeed, if you watched the game yesterday regards City and Chelsea, if Chelsea had a world-class striker, the fixture would have been totally
Chelsea
off
would have
by the first half.
Like 4-5
Exactly.
goals.
I mean, you look at the chances Chelsea created and missed. I do not think that City are striking that kind of fear into opponents. You look at City of old, you look at the kind of fear they struck into opponents, you look at the results that they had, even when they were not playing at their best. I think that, yes, football is no mathematics, football has never been about logic, but on the issue, on the basis of trend analysis, if we are going to follow the kind of results that the teams have chalked in the last few games, you are tempted to think that City might just struggle to make it over the line this time around. I think that Liverpool are motivated to get it over the line. One, because they will probably want to send the manager off with a super high five. I mean, they would want to send Jurgen Klopp off winning the league and then telling everybody that this was a manager who came in, revolutionized everything that we had stood for, won every trophy humanly possible with us. Arsenal are also motivated because I've said it and I'll repeat it again. The signing of Declan Rice could prove absolutely crucial. You look at Declan Rice in that Arsenal midfield, you look at the kind of ego, the kind of arrogance he brings to that midfield. Every team that is successful has a bit of arrogance about them. You understand? You can look at players, their body posture, you can look at the character of the players, you can look at the alpha males that are present in that particular team. And I think that for the signing of Declan Rice, yes, even though Arsenal had to pay over the odds, but I think that he's been worth every pound. He's been worth every pound. Let's quickly zoom into the rest of the conversation before we go on to other departments of the EPL, and we probably take a quick detour into Europe. The top 4 race is heating up. In my mind, I'm sure that the top 3 is settled. Liverpool, Arsenal, City, in no particular order.
So you are left with
now the top
Aston
4.
Villa,
I look
United.
at Tottenham, I look at Aston Villa, I look at Manchester United. I might probably want to rope in a bit of Brighton who are 7th, but Brighton, 6 points away from Manchester United. So I look at the top 3 representatives for the top four competition. Manchester United, Aston Villa, Tottenham Hotspur.
Now
Who gets to make that top four slot?
You look at the top four, and the funny thing is that United is the lowest scoring team.
They have a +1.
+1.
Yes.
Tottenham, who is fit, has +14.
+14.
And you have Aston Villa, who is having +19.
Yes.
So this shows the difference between the extreme ends, that is the defense and the attack. Now, if you look at this, it tells you that Aston Villa especially has a sharper attack than United, because the likes of Oli Watkins, Leon Bailey, and his cohorts, you look at them, and if you look at United's top scorer, you'll be surprised that it has to be Scott McTominay
in the league.
And you look at this and you are like how? Like, there is Bruno.
Like McTominay.
Like there is Højlund. Like there is Rashford, who was firing from all angles last season.
30+ goals.
30+ goals. In the league alone, he was double figures. More than 15 goals. Now, you look at Aston Villa. You look at Tottenham. Richarlison, who was hardly scoring, has suddenly found a scoring boot. Maddison is scoring. Son even has gone to Asian and has come back and is scoring. And you look at United into the defensive midfielder. That tells you that there is so much. So, for me, this top four is in no particular order. It will be a miracle for United to be in the top four.
But the point is that United are just 5 points away from
it's not the number of points per se.
We look at momentum.
The momentum is that...
momentum, because the top four finish is just about the points accumulation.
Of course. But with United, how often have we seen them to be consistently inconsistent?
But in the last 7 games, United have won 6 games.
And I'm saying that...
And then United are not playing in Europe.
And you should understand that which teams has United played against in this past 6 games? You can mention. There is not even a team in this top 4. Not even a team in this top 5.
They've beaten Aston Villa. They've beaten Aston Villa last week.
Liverpool.
They've not met Liverpool yet.
Arsenal.
They've not met Arsenal
Manchester
yet.
City.
They've not met Arsenal.
Tottenham.
I'm pretty sure you can say same
Tottenham.
for all of the
Brighton.
Aston Villa.
No,
they beat Aston Villa 2
now,
goals to 1 recently.
I understand that. I'm just telling you that United's boogeyman has been these top teams for the past 2-3 seasons. It's been very difficult for United, especially away from home. Unfortunately, United is playing against Liverpool away. Okay, they are playing at home because last season they had to go on a 0-0. United, obviously, against Tottenham. United were beaten last season against Tottenham. That was
this season.
This season, I mean,
beginning of the season. So Tottenham comes to Old Trafford.
Tottenham comes to Old Trafford.
Liverpool comes to Old Trafford.
But we both know that United home and away
Arsenal
against Liverpool
comes to Old Trafford.
Kofi, it's when we talk of Old Trafford now,
I think that we ought to talk about momentum when it comes to fixtures between Liverpool and Manchester United. There is absolutely no form guide.
But for the past 3 seasons or 2 seasons, it is not a matter of form guide. But United has been
United beat Liverpool at home last season.
I am telling you that United over the past 3 seasons have received more defeat from Liverpool, and they were humiliating. 6, 5,
I think
4.
I think that you're overplaying.
I am not overplaying. I am not. What I'm saying is that with the top 4, for United to be in the top 4, I am saying that United is too inconsistent. I don't know, but I'm not really flattered. Of course, 6, no problem. This is the United we used to know.
No, you know why? I am convinced that United will make the top 4.
Why?
Because for a long time, and I think that through no fault of the manager has not had to get his best team to play.
So this is the best team United has?
I mean, shown some character. This is the best team that United... Let me tell you my best United 11. And then you tell me how many times this team has been able to play together.
Problem. Then we'll talk about the team.
You talk about Dalot. You talk about in defensive midfield. You have Lisandro Martinez. When Lisandro Martinez plays in this team, they are a totally different proposition. You can talk about Varane partnering. How many times do you have Luke Shaw playing as the number one left fullback? Where is Malacia? Somebody was asking me if Malacia was dead. You understand? Because you haven't heard from him all season. Nobody seems to talk about Tyrell Malacia. You understand? So Malacia, and then in midfield, there has been that emergence of Kobe Menu. Anytime I watch Kobe Menu, I am so excited because
whom does he remind you of?
Kobe Menu reminds me so much of Michael Carrick.
The funny thing is that
probably a shorter, darker Michael Carrick.
For me, he actually reminds me of the beginning of Pogba. Pogba in 2012, before he was shipped off. That is 2011, 2012.
No, he wasn't shipped off. I mean, Mino Raiola had to take him away.
We understand. I mean, that was 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
He played in a Carling Cup game versus Chelsea. That match, it became a 4-3, then it was a penalty and a hazard score. I watched Pogba for the first time, and I was like, who is this guy? Yeah. As a 17, 18-year-old boy, he could get the ball from his defense. He wouldn't want to just balloon the ball. It was like when I was watching Xavi Simons yesterday. Yeah. The guy could get the ball from his goalkeeper with 3 defenders behind him.
Xavi Simons, Leverkusen.
No, RB Leipzig. Leipzig. The guy is composed.
There is another midfielder in that Liverpool team. I'm not talking about Granit Xhaka. Whoever partners Granit Xhaka in that Liverpool team.
I've forgotten the guy's name.
Fantastic player.
That was what reminded me. So during the Liverpool game, Kobe Menu could get the ball in the presence of with these midfielders, McAllister, whatever. He is not in a haste. You see, there was this one thing that Ronaldo Nazário de Lima was always saying, that as a player, the one thing that differentiates between you and another player's intelligence is your ability to be composed. Irrespective of how the situation around you is. You just relax your mind.
So I am saying that if you have Kobe Menu,
so we can say that now he is a mainstay.
He is a mainstay. Obviously,
it was rather unfortunate that
let me tell you something. It's like you said. It's rather unfortunate that Ten Hag didn't stumble on Kobe Menu quite early.
He had an injury.
He had an injury at the beginning of the season, in pre-season.
I'm sure we wanted to
plans
start
for him this season because against Arsenal, against Real Madrid in the pre-season, the guy was absolutely tremendous. You understand? Ten Hag has always had the penchant or the leaning towards midfielders who are composed. That's why for so long a time he had to chase Frankie de Jong. You understand? Because you look at the prototype of Frankie de Jong, and then you look at how he's able to calm down things even when there's so much chaos around him. So I think that he needed to find that perfect balance in that midfield. And I think that Kobe Menu blends so well with Casemiro. Casemiro is the experienced head. He's the Fulani man. He's the guy who chases all the cattle back into line. He is the minister of defense. He does all of the dirty job.
And you look at Kobe Menu. If you look at his game, of course, I think it's good we are dedicating this time for him, because you watch him and he's this type of defensive midfielder who would want to add goals to his games.
Yes.
And
fun fact. He used to be a striker when he was younger.
Just like De Gea was a center forward.
I mean, Kobe Menu was a center forward when he was a kid. And then he was also a winger. So now I understand why he has a particular skill set.
He is that composed with his age and with that level of confidence. I think the best thing that would work for him is the best thing he can ever get is to have Casemiro to play with. The next thing I think would be the best for him is whoever manages him. I wish or I pray he doesn't go through the trajectory that Pogba has gone through, because Manchester United as a club would really, really expose him. It's rather unfortunate there have been so many graduates from the academy who have come in, and they come in the first season, they are so much on fire. Adnan Januzaj coming in, James Wilson coming in,
And then
Will King coming in,
Frederico
Makeda coming in. The fact, first season, Makeda scored for United to win the league in 08-09. He was everywhere. 09-010, he was a starter. Getting to times, this guy could start matches, but then just along, I don't know if it was the stardom, it was the fame, he was just off. And with the same as I talked about James Wilson, I talked about Adnan Januzaj at first. In fact, he became a hot cake. I just pray that with the way he started, it's not good, because Adnan Januzaj and all of these players, one of the things that really became a worry was how to do when they started blossoming, their managers came in with contracts. You have to get him tied, you have to push him in, and before you realize, the player's head in the game was totally lost. So with respect to Kobbie Mainoo, I think that he should get a management that would make him focus in this game, because this is the good thing is that the manager wants you. Yeah. The manager is someone who is so much supported, irrespective of what happens. So let's say if this manager is supposed to stay for the next 2-3 seasons, barring injury, you have the chance to play in that position. Because if United would want to now go and buy any player, defensive midfield would be out of the budget. Because as young as you are and with the experience, if United is able to play in the Champions League, it gives him a leverage. And one thing I advise him, never naturalize for Ghana, wherever he is. I don't know where he is, Kobbie Mainoo, if you are listening to us.
That's agree with you.
You wait for the Three Lions for the next...
Don't have anything to do with Ghana Black Stars.
If you wait for the next 10 years to be called.
You should take lessons from KP Boateng.
KP Boateng.
What's the name of that goalkeeper?
Quincy Owusu-Abeye, Adam Kwarase.
You should take lessons from them.
Yeah? Collins Doffer, I don't know where he will go from now. Right now, I don't know what will happen to him.
I mean, even what we did to Otuado.
What we even did
to Otuado.
So for us,
one of the
we
things
are
that we'll talk about very soon.
An ungrateful group of people. We will just take you for the, of course, we will take you for the hype, use you to sell jerseys, use you for a tournament hype.
You think Manchester United will make the top 4?
Yeah, of course. Barring all of the their whatever surrounds them, this is a big team. They know how to enforce. It's not like they are fighting with Chelsea or Arsenal over top 4. It's Aston Villa and Tottenham. For one, there are a lot of ways and means that happen that are beyond us, and I believe those things will work for them, because with Aston Villa...
Are you happy with Højlund?
I knew this guy would succeed.
Is he the new Drogba?
No. For Drogba,
is he the new Haaland?
For Drogba, even Nicolas Jackson will not call himself.
Is he the new Erling Haaland?
No, I wouldn't say that.
I look at this guy, and every time I watch him play, I'm super excited.
I think
he solved one of the biggest problems for Manchester United.
He wanted to play for Manchester United.
Manchester United have never had a proper number 9 in the last decade.
No. The guy wanted to play for United. When he came, all he goes were in the Champions League. And you were like, when will he score in the league? But then, you realize that there was little criticisms on him. All because, even though he doesn't score,
he puts in the effort.
You realize this is somebody who he wants to be in the game. His movement.
His hold-up play.
This is a first season. And with the first season, of course, he didn't hit the ground running. He started from
an
injury, Champions League, scoring. And now that he's been consistent, I think the only problem I have with him not scoring is Rashford. If Rashford was a quarter selfless as Bruno Fernandes is, and because you watch United, you watch that this guy makes a movement just to be onside, waiting for Rashford to just play him in.
Well, viewers, forgive us if you have been a bit biased with Manchester United tonight. We're talking about the EPL and who gets to finish in the top 4. I looked at Manchester United today. Quick one before we take a quick detour around Europe and round up the show. I looked at Manchester United today. Listen, if Manchester United wants to get to the levels of City, if Manchester United wants to get to the levels of Arsenal currently, and then Liverpool, one thing that has to change in their game has to be the ability to convert chances.
Yes.
The ability to be clinical. I look at Garnacho, I'm excited. I look at Højlund, I'm excited. But if Manchester United wants to get to the next level, these players need to up their sense of judgment. I looked at the Luton game. Listen, if United had drawn this game, I would not lay a blame near the doorstep of the manager.
No.
I looked at the chances that
Past
Højlund,
few games,
Garnacho,
you realize that,
Rashford,
you realize
the captain Bruno Fernandes had.
Very profligate.
That is the difference between the Liverpools, the Cities, the Arsenals, and Manchester United.
Blooded.
Arsenal will punish you.
They would finish it. They would just kill the game. And you realize that, like you said, I had been a proponent of someone who actually bashes the coach very well for the past years because of course, my own personal reasons. But then I realized, like you said, after the coach has had his set of players fit and they have been consistent for like the past 3, 4, 5 games, you realize that they play to his tune. But then there are individual errors, a lot of individual errors that either lead to United conceding, United missing a lot of chances, United almost drawing games. Some of them come from our brother Onana in post. Some of them can be the defense, Harry Maguire. Some of them can be the attack. And for Rashford, I think it's about time that either he gets a very, very competitive addition that would really give him a run for it, because it's more or less like he seems himself to be a big boy right now. He's the highest paid player in the team as at the moment. He has everything going on for him. But I think if there is another player, because Garnacho does not play in right wing. Yep. He's a left winger. Yep. But because of the fact that is why now his goals keep dwindling. Because of Rashford, he has been moved to the right. If there was probably, hey, where is our man Anthony?
Anthony belongs to the museum. Forgive me for being so blunt, but Anthony belongs to the museum. Anthony for now belongs to the museum. So he's been bought expensively, but he's not proving the worth of the value that.
So you think bought. United needs a right winger?
Well, I do not know what will happen to Greenwood and the new takeover by Ineos. You understand, but Ineos so far has proven that they are making all the right footballing decisions. Maybe there could be a U-turn. Maybe Greenwood could be.
We talk of Greenwood.
Could be integrated back into that team.
I really don't know who has worked on him, but if you've watched him in the past few games,
no, but the guy has always been a talent. I mean, the guy. Let's quickly take a quick detour before we read some of the messages on YouTube. Bayern loses again.
I think Bayern is one of the most politically polarized teams in the whole.
Is it time for Tuchel to pack his
bag?
I am
saying that Bayern, if the players want you to go, number one, Thomas Müller. If they want you to go, they don't mind.
I listened to his interview after the defeat
by Liverpool.
I'm
saying they don't mind.
It was damning.
I said Bayern is a team run by ex-players. And the players themselves know how the politics work. They will get you fired. And it is, in fact, if they could do it to Ancelotti, if they could force Guardiola in such a way that he becomes too uncomfortable after all he did to leave, then who is Tuchel? Who is even Julian Nagelsmann? So for me, I think that all they are doing is that they are not ready to play for him. And I read an article somewhere about.
You feel sorry for Harry Kane.
The curse of Harry Kane, that he is born to win personal awards, but he would never win a trophy.
Wow!
Because it's so funny that Bayern wins the league 10 consecutive, even 11 consecutive seasons before his arrival.
He comes in and all of a sudden there's Leverkusen who now have an 8-point advantage.
It has never happened.
Over Bayern Munich.
Bayern hardly loses the Super Cup, the German Super Cup. He comes in So I don't really know if the voodoo that was spoken is
I don't
true.
want you talking about voodoos.
Okay, I
I
think
don't
we
want
can.
you talking about
So
voodoos.
for them,
Let's quickly read some messages
Okay.
on our YouTube page. Quickly, some messages from our viewers on YouTube. Joshua Eshen says that United will win the league. I think that's a bit of sarcasm. Kobe Eshen says, what is Percy saying? The table isn't a fair representation of the situation. Efia says, loving the show. Ashti says, great content, guys. Keep up the good work. Habi asks where Lucky is. I'm pretty sure Lucky will tell us where he is in the coming days. United PHA says United are winning matches ugly. And then Help Miss sends us a super sticker. He sends us £5. Thank you so much, Help Miss. Guys, keep supporting the show. We'll be doing this every Sunday from 7 to 8 p.m. And then we will be releasing weekly videos. I mean, get to visit our page on 101sports101.com. When you go to YouTube, visit that particular page, subscribe to Sports 101, watch the videos, comment on the page, share the videos, and then talk about all of the things that we provide content on to your friends. I mean, let's spread the good news. It's been wonderful coming your way again tonight. I did this with Percy, and we will be back on set next week Sunday with another juicy content from 7 to 8 p.m. This is where we say goodbye.